Denizens of the night, welcome to another episode of the macabre, the terrifying. Tonight, let's have a little summer fun and take a spin upriver. Four friends set out to kick back, jet ski on the water, and knock back a few drinks together. But what starts as a comfortable way to unwind as a group quickly turns sour, and the four friends begin to wonder if they ever really knew one another at all. This is part one of a two-part story called Of the Sea, and was written by A.G. Hilton.
And can we also get 50 on pump too? Of course, replies the clerk as he presses keys on the register. He scans the cases of beer and glances out the window toward two trucks hauling trailers with jet skis. You guys gonna make a day of it out on the water? That's the plan. Good day for it. Might want to be liberal with the sunscreen, but that's a small problem, right? Gonna be down for long? Forecast says it's supposed to be bright and clear the whole way through to next week. I hand him my card as he keeps up with the small talk, all the while doing a quick run of numbers in my head. I'm pretty sure this'll clear. Guess I could have asked Travis for his, but he's already bankrolling the trip and this little excursion. Well, to be more accurate, his dad is bankrolling things, though I'd never insinuate as much. Travis has always done right by me. Still, I feel a flutter in my gut as the clerk swipes the mag strip on my card. It's stupid of me to be out here vacationing when I'm barely scraping by. Cindy told me as much when the plans were made, but Travis talked me into it. Besides, I'm sure I'll make it up with some extra hours at work once I'm back. Anything else? Asks the clerk. Guess that's all. All right. Y'all be safe and have a good time. And mind the tide going out this evening. Thanks for the heads up. The sun blinds me as I step out of the shop. I squint at the two Coburn brothers leaning against the nearest truck and give them a thumbs up. The larger of the pair, Bill, returns my gesture, and together with Brian, he sets about freeing the pump nozzle and filling up the equipment, while I walk around to the passenger side of the truck with the beer. Where'd you put that cooler again? I ask as I dig through the things piled in the back seat. When Travis doesn't respond, I repeat myself and step back to look at him. Huh? He's sitting in the cab with the window rolled down, looking fixedly at the mirror. The cooler, dude. Where the hell did you stash it? He doesn't respond. What are you... I step closer and follow his eyes to the mirror. Behind us and across the parking lot, a little red convertible had pulled up, bringing with it a group of girls in Daisy Dukes and bikini tops. Ah, I see. Dude, don't block the view. Will you just tell me where the cooler is? Cooler? Other side, just as you open the door. I walk around the truck and start unloading the beers. Travis continues his vigil. Aren't they kind of young? I ask. Young? Who are you, my mother? Nah, those are college girls, easy. Didn't you just graduate like 3 years back? You're just jealous because you're saddled with that old ball and chain now. Travis pulled down the passenger side sun visor and gave himself a quick once-over. Actually, I might go have a quick chat. Travis starts his saunter across the parking lot, leaving me shaking my head and stacking the last of the drinks. Casanova's on the prowl? Asks Brian from the trailer. Yeah, something like that. What's the hold up now? Asks Bill as he steps around the pump. We only need to point across the parking lot for him to get the message. Ah, well, feel free to bake out here playing spectator. I'm gonna crank the AC in the other truck. Came down here to be on the water, not the blacktop. Brian waves his brother off. 10-4, good buddy. I'll join you in a second. He turns to me then. Any chance I could get a couple of those beers? Can't even wait until we get to the place? Why wait? I'm not driving. Yeah, but you're about to drive a jet ski, I reply, even as I hand him one of the frosted cans. At this rate, I think I got time to kill 2 or 3 of these and still be sober as a nun by the time we get going. He cracks the can open and leans on the truck before bouncing away just as quickly. I could fry a damn egg on that thing with how hot it is. His eyes return to the scene across the parking lot. Would you bet he comes walking back over here with one of them? I chuckle at that. Afraid I don't have the dough for a bet, but I'll say this. Looks like some things never change. True that. Anyways, I think Bill has the right idea. I'm going where there's AC. As he returns to the second truck occupied by his brother, I follow Brian's example and get into the cab of the truck Travis and I had taken. I crank up the AC and pull the truck off and away from the pump while I wait on Travis. When I see him coming up in the rearview mirror, I'm surprised not to see one of the girls on his arm. I was right, Travis says as he climbs into the cab. Down from App State on summer break. And we got to talking, and turns out they're looking for a place to party later. Might have let slip we have a nice secluded rental we'll be at. And why did you feel led to do this? He shrugs, a little grin tugging at the corner of his mouth. This is vacation, man. Just 'cause you're tied down doesn't mean the rest of us should be. But hey, as far as it goes with me, what happens down here stays down here. I ain't a talker. No way. You guys do whatever, but leave me out of it. Danny! Travis gives me a little punch on the arm. Lighten up, my guy. I'm just messing with you. You're so uptight all the time. Just relax and have a good time. He leans back and snags a beer from the cooler in the back seat. Though if we get company, we might need to buy some more of these. Again, my mind starts doing some mental calculations. Hey, I know I said I'd buy drinks and the gas, but I didn't count on... Danny! Didn't I tell you to relax? If you're tight on funds, just say so. You know I got you, bro. I'll spot you the rest of the trip, yeah? Travis, I'm not looking for a... It's not a handout. Cool it with the wounded pride. Travis's grin is now on in full force. It's the same good-humored but slightly mischievous grin I'd known since we were little, and which always disarmed me. I mean, you're practically family to me, you know? Besides, Dad let me take the company card. So why don't you and I go and stock up a little more? And I don't disagree. The rental is a secluded place, a white house in a grove of trees. Sunlight dapples its front as a breeze which carries the saltiness of the sea ruffles through the branches. I spy a hammock around back and realize I wouldn't mind spending most of the afternoon kicked back here. But the boys are determined to hit the water, so we don't stay long. After a quick unpacking and stocking of some small lunch boxes, we're down the road to an out-of-the-way dock. A little pier strikes out amid a dark channel which feeds into the intercoastal waterway. A sloping ramp provides access to load and unload watercraft. No other vehicles are parked nearby. Hell yeah, says Brian. Those beers at the service station weren't the last he'd had, and I recognized the hint of tipsy exuberance in his voice. Got the place to ourselves. Let's get on it, boys. Daylight's wasting. A short time later, we've got both sets of jet skis in the water and the trucks tucked away. Our keys and phones we put into watertight bags within the forward compartments of the vehicles, along with the small lunch sacks we'd each made. The sun sits high in the sky. Everyone good? Travis asks. We all give a thumbs up and begin to follow Travis as he makes his way up the channel. After a few minutes, the trees give way to a larger body of water. Tall grass sways in large clumps, and smaller channels weave between them through oyster-clogged beds into what I take to be the intercoastal waterway proper. A few boats float here and there, their passengers lounging or casting fishing lines. In the distance, I see some rentals across the way, and the large bridge heading out toward Oak Island and its beach.
"Where to?"
asks Bill.
"Wherever,"
Travis replies.
"Danny, didn't you say there are all kind of tributaries that feed into this?"
"Yeah, a friend of mine said he used to come down here and do this when he was younger. Apparently there's some cool stuff if you go up some of them."
"Cool stuff like what?"
asks Brian. I shrug. "I don't know. Said you could find old boats, some shanties, stuff like that. We could do some exploring. Just want to make sure we turn back before too late. Tide will be going out this evening."
"No worries on that front,"
Travis replied. "I'll make sure we get on back."
"I bet you will,"
laughs Brian.
"You really think those girls are gonna show?"
"They'll show." He gives that grin of his again.
"Now come on, let's see how fast these things can go."
As we tear down the intercoastal waterway, I find myself grinning like a fool. The wind whips through my hair, and I'm transported to a time a few years back when Travis's dad rented a place on the lake. That had been the first time I'd ever driven one of these things, and it had been a blast. Now, as I race with the others, all the worries of work and money peel away from me as I plunge along. Maybe Travis is right, and I just need to loosen up. After a bit, Travis slows and we follow his lead.
"What do you think about this?"
he asks. He indicates a waterway that opens to our left. Willowy-looking trees hang partly over the mouth, creating an effect almost like a curtain.
"Worth exploring?"
Brian hoots in approval, and we make our way under the bows and up the tributary. The narrow path means we can't go quite as fast, but the way it weaves makes for a twisting ride. The trees rising on each side give a labyrinthine quality to the route, and once or twice something startles and jumps into the water as we round a bend. When we stop a little later to crack open the lunch bags, Brian pipes up.
"What's that we keep startling? They got gators around here?"
"That's what I heard. Small ones, anyways," says Bill.
"In fact, I heard a lady gator back up the way say she was waiting for a morsel named Brian to spill off his ride." "Very funny."
Brian pulled another beer from the compartment of his ski.
"But we all know I'm skin and bones. You'd be the much better, juicier piece of ass."
Bill crushes the can of Coke he's just drained and hurls it at Brian. Brian swerves his head to avoid the projectile and very nearly goes over the side of his ski, to the general amusement of all, as I snag the can and put it in with my trash.
"Speaking of which," Brian goes on, "what's her name, Travis?"
Travis looks up. He's pulled his phone out of the sealed bag and is typing away.
"Huh? You know, the girl driving the car. The one you're swooning over and probably texting right now. Come on, don't tell me you don't even know her name." "Nicole." "Hey, must be special if you remember her name."
The others laugh, but my smile is forced. I'm not in the mood for Brian's drunken, horny ramblings, and I'm doing a mental tally of how much he's had to drink. Meanwhile, he goes on.
"You know, it's weird. Almost thought I recognized her at first. Just hit me now. She looks like that one chick from back in high school. What was her name? You gotta know who I mean. Dark hair, nice... What the hell, Brian? Are you drunk already?"
Bill asks.
"Samantha," Brian continues. "That was it. Samantha Keys. You know, I tried to get with her once. Well, more than once. Shut me down hard. Ice Queen. But man, was she hot. You tried to get with her, didn't you, Trav? Whatever happened to her? Suddenly, I'm looking at Brian in disbelief. The words fall out of my mouth before I have time to stop them. Wait, I remember her now. Isn't she the one that killed herself after graduation? Silence falls as we bob gently on the water. Oh, shit. Brian stares down into the dark water. Shit, I guess that was her. I don't know how Bill's right, says Travis. He turns a hard look on Brian. Slow it on the drinking, okay? And that's enough. No more of that dark shit, yeah? Yeah. Sorry. Then Travis flips back to his easy grin, as if nothing had ever happened. I'll chill, dude. But I think that's our cue. Let's go on a little further and see what we can find. We go on then, but I'm not feeling that lightness I did before. Like Brian, I too seem to have forgotten the incident from our senior year of high school until just now. It had been so long ago, and I never really knew her. Still, looking back, I can't help but feel callous about how easily it had slipped my mind. Then, I guess hindsight is like that. I remembered hearing about it back then, and it hadn't felt real. Guess the older you get, the more you really consider things beyond yourself and your own sphere. Now I can't stop it floating around my mind. But my reflection is cut short as a holler goes up from around the next bend. I'm at the back of the pack, and the others are totally out of view. I'm not sure what to expect, but as I round the bend, I'm startled to find a wild-eyed man in waders standing in the water. I miss him narrowly due to a quick adjustment to my steering, and my wake splashes the man as he raves at me. Eyes bulging, his yellow teeth gnash as he yells incoherently. He looks sickly. His clothes look like they have strange growth accumulating on them. My first instinct is to apologize, and I let off the throttle, but the man's wild appearance has me second-guessing. Out! He screams as he wades toward me. All of you, out! This is our place! Realizing that the others are long gone, I jet forward after them. Behind me, I can hear the man raving until I round the next turn. I almost run into Bill when I do. Easy, Danny, he says. Got a little spooked by our friend? Me spooked? You guys got out of there before I even came around the bend. What was up with that guy? Weird-ass looking dude, says Brian. Think he lives out here? Looks like he crawled out of a marsh. You did say there were shanties and stuff out here, Travis adds. My friend had said things like that were back here, but when he told me, I figured he meant any of those places were abandoned. Apparently, that is not the case. What should we do? I ask. What do you mean, do? Asks Travis in reply. Probably just some weird homeless guy pissed that we crashed his fishing spot. I say we just keep on exploring a little more, then we turn back. Not like he owns the river. The others agree, and soon we're back on our way. But I'm having a hard time enjoying myself. I keep thinking of those wild eyes boring into me, and the man's imploring us to leave. One thing in particular keeps coming back to me. Our place, he'd said. And suddenly I found myself scanning the passing trees, all the while unable to shake the feeling of being watched. Holy shit! Check that out! Ahead, the narrow channel opens upon a reeded marsh. Brian pulls around Travis to float alongside an old boat, which moulders at the center of the opening amid the tall swamp grass. Barnacles protrude from the hull,
and if there had ever been any paint, it had chipped and flaked away to expose bare wood. I'm not knowledgeable about boats, and so I can't place the type, but it looks old, and its skeletal mast indicates it once had a good-sized sail. What boat of this size would be doing here, and how it would have gotten here, is a mystery. Whatever sort of craft it is, it looks to have been here for quite some time. "Brian, what the hell are you doing?" Bill asks. Brian stands up on his jet ski, one hand braced on the boat as he peers up and over the side. "Come on, we gotta check it out." Bill lets out an exasperated sigh. "I swear to God, Brian, if you fall through the rotted floor of that thing..." "What, you'll kill me?" Brian asks with a grin. He swings a leg up and mounts the railing. "Jesus Christ, you're starting to sound like Mom." "And you wonder why she still doesn't trust you," Bill murmurs. He turns to me. "Danny, please go get him off that thing." "Wait a second, he's your brother." "Unfortunately. Look, he was right about one thing. I don't think my..." He makes a sour face. "Juicier piece of ass, as he put it, is gonna make it up and down from that thing as easy as you. Just go grab him, man. He's stupid and sloshed enough to fall off the side and hit his head or something. I should have stopped him carrying any more drinks out here. I'm just hoping he can make the drive back." I'm realizing I don't want to go up on the old boat. In fact, I just want to turn back. I look to Travis, about to suggest that he do it, and once again I see him pulling the phone out of his bag and start texting. What the hell. Travis had covered the stuff earlier when it was my turn to buy. I decide to get on with it and manage to clamber up the side. Brian is nowhere to be seen, but this comes only as a fleeting thought. Instead, my eyes are drawn to the things hanging about the boat's cabin. They tinkle and clink, small bits of colored glass and other odd bits tied with string and swaying in the wind. I'm not sure what to make of them. Some strange wind chimes? Dream catchers, maybe? I lean a little closer, and some of the pieces look like small bones. "Brian, where the hell are you?" "Danny, you gotta check this out!" I turn to find Brian's head sticking up from a stairwell leading below deck. "What are you doing?" "Just having a look. Man, there's some weird stuff down here. You gotta come see." He's gone before I put another word in, and I reluctantly follow. The air below decks is damp, and the space is dark. Not entirely, however, and that fact makes my hair stand on end. The soft glow of old lanterns fills the space. Brian stands in the room, motioning me in. "Check it out, Danny. What you want to bet we found the pad of our friend from down the river?" A vaguely sea-bottom odor permeates the room. A small cot sits against the far wall, tattered and stained sheets rumpled atop it. Bits of clothes, some of it fishing gear, and some old-looking things like from some documentary on colonial history scatter the floor. Strangest of all is the looping pattern carved into every surface of the boat's interior. The patterns catch my eyes, swirling round and round, and feeling like they're tugging at me. Mental cyclones set into wood. "Brian, we need to head back. Let's get out of here." Brian doesn't heed me. He stands in the center of the room, flipping through a battered book of some kind. Freaky shit, man. Guy has to be a few fries short of a Happy Meal. I grab the book and put it back on the small table. Which is why we should go. So come on, I'm serious. Easy. I'm going. I can't get out of that place fast enough. As I usher Brian up the stairs, I jerk at a sensation of fingers against my back, pulling at me,
drawing me away, but nothing is there. Somehow, Brian makes it back off the side and onto his ride without incident. Bill is watching him closely, and I'm really getting worried about the return trip. The sun is starting its descent. It almost seems the days passed faster than it ought to. "Y'all need to check that out," Brian says. "I think that old dude lives out on this thing." Bill looks to me, then to the boat. I'm not sure if he's just worried about his brother's inebriation or something more, but he's the only other one that seems to share my sense of unease. "Ain't no time," calls Travis. "Boys, daylight's wasting, and we got ladies in waiting. Last one back to the main channel cleans up tonight." He jets back the way we'd come, Brian hooting close behind. Bill takes off after, and again I bring up the rear. Unlike the more careful trip up the tributary, Travis is going all out on the return trip. We tear after him, bouncing in the wake which sloshes from side to side in the channel as we bear down, hell-bent for leather. And all the while that feeling of being watched intensifies. I want to be out of this place. "Watch out, Travis!" Brian calls over the sounds of the engines. He's cutting back and forth, trying to pass, like it's the last lap of the Indy 500, while Travis fights to hold the lead. "I'm coming for you!" Travis laughs and says something incoherent over his shoulder. At this, Brian stands atop his jet ski and shouts a sound like a fanfare. "Check it out! I'm Superman!" To my astonishment, Travis drops flat along the jet ski's seat, feet extended behind, hands somehow still steering the craft. Bill starts shouting at him to get his ass in the seat, and Travis looks back, shaking with laughter. Then comes a thump and a scream. At first, I can't see what's happened. The others have just taken a turn in front of me when the cry goes up. But in a moment, I round the bend and see it. A body floating face down in the water. Travis and the others have stopped, shouting all at once. I freeze, looking first to the body, then to the red streak on the front of Travis's jet ski. "Dumbass! I told you to sit down!" "It wasn't me! Travis! Both of you, shut the fuck up! I gotta think!" I'm off my jet ski into chest-deep water, reaching for the floating form. Travis shouts, Danny, wait a second!" I don't listen. I grab the man, turning his face up out of the water. Sure enough, it's the old dude we passed before. Wading through the muck, I push him onto the muddy bank amid tree roots. In my panic, I'm unsure of what to do. I start chest compressions, but even now I know it's useless. A large red gash slashes across the man's forehead. His nose is crushed and broken across the center of his face. As I push onto his chest, something feels like it gives, and a trickle of red runs over the yellowed teeth to trickle down the side of his slack face. I stumble back, a steady string of oh shit, pouring mindlessly from me. The man is clearly dead. I sag back into the shallow water as I stare at his slack face. I remember his bulging eyes from earlier, the animalistic look he'd had. Taking him in now, he seems even more wild than before. His long hair is braided in place with what looks like kelp or seaweed. His worn and mismatched clothes are covered in what might be barnacles, and small crabs dart here and there on his body. He stinks with a sea bottom smell. "God damn it, Danny!" Travis is at my shoulder, pulling me back. "Don't touch him!" "What?" Bill cuts me off. "He's dead, Travis! You should have been looking where you were fucking going! Maybe I would have if Brian hadn't been distracting me!"
Now Brian is in the shallows too.
Don't put that on me, man. At least I got sense enough to look where I'm going. What do we do?
I ask. All eyes turn on me. No one speaks for a time. Travis finally speaks up.
Like you said, we gotta get back before the tide changes. Wait a second, you're just gonna leave? We can't do anything for him. For Christ's sake, Danny, it was an accident. Shit happens sometimes, you know? He's probably just some homeless guy.
I rub at my eyes, desperately hoping either the body will clear from my sight or that I'll sit up and realize this is all a dream.
You seriously just want to walk away? Why not?
Travis looks at me with hard eyes.
Why the hell not, Danny? I said it was an accident. Tragic as hell, but that's it. Look around. No one's gonna miss this guy. You really want to ruin my life, our lives, by making this worse than it is?
My mouth hangs open. I look at the body and then back to who I would have said was one of my best friends. I can't quite grasp his utter disregard for what just happened.
Travis is right, man,
Brian says.
Guy like that's probably just squatting out here. But this'll be a shitstorm if we say anything.
Travis whirls on him.
And don't forget, you've been out here driving around on that thing drunk. Won't look good on you. Won't look good on any of us. So, we all gotta be together on this, yeah?
I look to Bill, his lips pressed tight. I can see the gears turning in his head. He looks to me, his brother, the body, then down at the water sloshing about our ankles.
Shit. Well?
Travis turns once more to each of us with a look that dares us to step out of line. Bill doesn't say anything, doesn't meet my eye again. He wades back to his jet ski and mounts it. Brian follows his brother's lead, and now only Travis and I remain in the water.
Let's go, Danny. Nothing you can do for him. Let's just go.
Now Travis also mounts his ride. Engines crank. Slowly, one by one, they drift away from the scene. I stand there feeling a pit in my stomach. I can't believe they're just going on with no more ceremony than that. The Coburn brothers I can understand. They're just following Travis's lead like always. Like me, Travis has looked out for them over the years, spotted them cash, and a lot more besides. He's always been the de facto leader in that way, and I've always followed along too. But now, I look back to the body, those eyes staring with vacant accusation. I've never been this close to a dead person before, and I'm realizing my knees are shaking. But Travis doesn't seem upset that a man's just died, only that it's an inconvenience for him. Travis is a lot of things, but I just never imagined him to be this unfeeling. Now they're moving on, and once again that sense of being watched pricks at the back of my mind. I don't want to be left here alone with this body and the leaning trees. Sloshing through the dark water, I too climb aboard my jet ski. But before I crank the engine, I become aware of something. I've never felt a sensation like this before. The day is still and placid. Nothing seems out of place. And yet I feel something looming, like a dark cloud from amid the trees. Then a sound reaches me, soft and melodic. A voice singing a low and sweet melody, coming this way. And with the voice, the crickets chirp in a chorus of their own. Small crabs scuttle from their holes along the bank, and the gulls add their own voice to the melody. Suddenly, I'm certain that if I stay here any longer, something horrible will happen. I engage the motor and jet off after the others.
Only when I've rounded the next bend and left the scene behind do I think I hear something just over the sound of the engine. A pained, high-pitch wail. I try to tell myself it's only a gull.
Whoops! I didn't think manslaughter would be the least of our problems. But it does seem the story is shaping up that way, doesn't it? I have to ask, do you think it was a gull that called out in the last lines of Part 1? No, neither do I. Much more horror lies ahead for our boys in Part 2, which I will link on your screen once it's released. Until then, we'll just have to wonder what sort of sea-bottom creepy crawlies stalk these tributaries. If you enjoyed this story, check out the playlist appearing on your screen for more from this author. Please also leave a like on this video and subscribe to hear more stories like this one. Whatever you do, watch out where you point that jet ski. And don't fall asleep.